Looks pretty good. We'll come back to that in a minute. Hey y'all, I'm Milla Jawson and welcome back to my channel. And happy Techtober. The last few weeks have been filled with all kinds of unveilings and releases of all the new tech. Some of the things that I've been most excited about and have really enjoyed seeing were the Canon EOS R3, the GoPro Hero 10 Black, and the iPhone 13. Even though I'm an Android guy, it was really cool to see what the iPhones are doing. And this time of year is one of my favorite on YouTube because you get to see what all the creatives are doing who got early looks at those cameras and those phones and everything else. It really is awesome to see how widespread their passions and their interests are. Everything from extreme sports on down to just walking down the street vlogging with something. But with all these camera and technology releases, one thing always stands out, and I feel like we get a little hung up on it sometimes, and this is just my personal opinion, FYI, but we always highlight megapixels. First off, what is a megapixel? A megapixel is 1 million pixels, and that's the number of dots in a certain area. And we always get hung up on this. We want more, we want 20. At one time, 4 was enough. And I get it, it helps with the clarity. It really, really does. So let's back up a little bit. For a few months back in college, I worked for Chris Slidell and his store, Chris's Camera Center South in Aiken, South Carolina. Chris is very old school. He comes from the era of film. He was a very accomplished photographer, very accomplished small businessman. And he loved selling cameras to people. He taught me 2 very important lessons, realistically 3, but 2 that really stood out to me. Number 1, he always said that every customer blesses us, whether that's when they come through the doors of our camera store or when they go back out them. But number 2, again, it goes back to he was old school. And at the time we were printing all kinds of 4x6s and occasionally 8x10s, 8x12s and some larger format. But we were printing a lot of 4x6s for people's photo albums, their walls, things like that. And he always thought it was funny how people got hung up on megapixels. Now, how many megapixels do you think you actually need for a 4x6 or, in this day and age, to post on social media? The answer might surprise you. You only realistically need 1 megapixel for a 4x6. How about for an 8x10? You only need 2. And here's something that I need to test at some point, but I've never had the opportunity to make a big billboard like you see driving down I-20 or any other interstate or highway. He said you only need 4 megapixels and a well-constructed photo. And I can understand that. People are flying down the interstate at 60 up to 90 miles an hour, and so it's blurred as it goes flying by. So to that point, I also wanted to show that the number of megapixels sometimes doesn't matter depending on the format that they're being either printed in or posted to social media in or whatever. And I have 4 photos here with me today that I have shot from 4 different cameras that I have owned. Each of these cameras were different phases of my career and have totally different numbers of megapixels for the most part. So just so you know, the cameras that I'm talking about were ranging from a 3.1 megapixel Kodak EasyShare that I got back in 2004. I did the unboxing for. We'll post that link down there. Then there's my first DSLR, the Canon Rebel XT at 8 megapixels. Loved that camera. It went to Italy with me. It was all over the place. It was absolutely my favorite camera. Then I upgraded from that when I sold it to John to purchase the Canon EOS 40D at 10.1 megapixels. That wasn't a big jump, 8 to 10.1, but the camera itself offered a lot more ability. So then the biggest jump in my career as far as clarity went was when I went from the 40D to a first generation Canon EOS 7D with 18 megapixels. So again, I have 3 pictures here, one from each of those 4 cameras. And I'm gonna see if you can tell which one came from which camera. I'm not gonna tell you the date that it was taken or the place, because that'll probably give away some of this, but I wanna see if you can guess. I'm gonna hold them up, they're framed. 3 of them are 11 by 14, and another is, as you kind of saw, in poster size. But then I'm also gonna embed them here in the video so you can kind of see and take a guess at which camera you think produced that image. So, first up, we have this rose. Number 2. this fawn. Picture number 3. So before we move on to picture number 4, I'm going to go ahead and reveal what the other 3 already were. And we're going to work backwards and reverse with the flower back to the rose. So, picture number 1. This was taken in Jackson, Wyoming, I believe in 2015, and this was taken with the 70 at 18 megapixels. Picture number 2 was the fawn. Can't remember the year exactly that this was taken on, but it was taken at my parents' house. Not a whole lot of cropping, great 70 to 200 millimeter zoom helped with this so that mama deer wouldn't kill me. But this was taken with the 10.1 megapixel 40D. And image number 1, this is the beginning of the point that I'm trying to make. This was taken in Italy in 2005 with my Rebel XT on 8 megapixel. And the fun part about this is that this is only maybe a quarter of the original image. There's a whole nother flower right here. So I cropped it way down. Now if you get right up on it, you can see that it's a little soft and you can see a little pixelization right up in here. But all in all, you looking at it right there, especially from far away, you're not gonna know necessarily if this was 8 megapixels, which was, like I said, only maybe 2, or if that was taken with the 18. And now for the real point to be made on this. So you notice that I haven't said the Kodak Easy Share yet. 3 megapixels. Little killer over here action there. This was taken in 2004 in Costa Rica with that Kodak Easy Share 3.1 megapixel camera. I don't know who the little girl is. It was part of a mission trip. We were told to just snap pictures so that Samaritan's Purse could use them for promotional material and everything. But this was one of my most exciting trips, and I love this image because you've got the yellows, you've got the red, you've got her skin tones, you've got great detail and everything. Now when you get up on it, especially with how big this is at like 36 inches by 24 by 36 maybe, I don't know. You can start to see pixelization again. There's a little bit of fuzz to it. It's not nearly as crisp and clear as probably if I had taken the same picture with the 70. But it just shows that you don't need to get hung up on the number of megapixels that a camera offers you. It's all about how you use it and making sure that you get the best image and that you frame the image and that you get the exposure right and everything. Granted, that was with a point and shoot, so there wasn't a whole lot that I could do as far as depth of field and exposure and all that. But it was still fun to take that image and then look at the image that I produced. So like I said, this is all pretty much just my opinion on it. Don't get me wrong, I want the R3. I want a camera that can give me the absolute best clarity, that can shoot 30 frames per second in photo mode. That's actually a video, but that's just exciting for sports mode. So I'm not trying to be a total snob. I'm going to try and get bigger, better cameras as I continue on because I do want clarity as well. But for me, it's more about the composing of the picture. Kind of like what some of the creatives have said about the camera phones that have come out and things like that, is you're taking some of the art out of photography by making cameras that can fake depth of field, that can tell you what the exposure needs to be and all like that. But there's still an art to it and a lot of fun to be had when you capture the image, you input the ISO, the shutter speed, the aperture, all that kind of stuff to create this beautiful image. If you liked this video, if you liked my ramblings about my opinions on photography, I'd still have some ideas that I want to do about my journey through photography and my love for photography. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button if you don't already. I really greatly appreciate it. And then also, if you liked this video, hit, punch, smash, blash, whatever you want to do, that like button down there. It really does help. Until next time, I'll see you in another video.